Hi, this is Julie from Love's Beginning. I am trying for the first time going live, so we'll see how this works. I thought it would just be easier to, instead of having to take that extra step to upload a video, to just go live. So today what I had to talk about was nestling into the heart of frantic thought. And what do I mean by that? We can sense when our own thoughts have become frantic and fast and confused, but sometimes we're with others and we seem to sense it in them instead of in us. And what I'm told about that is that it is the same thing, it's the same opportunity. And how I'm guided through that is um, to sort of, well, first of all, don't deny what seems to be happening in terms of the feelings and the thoughts and the judgments that are coming up seemingly within you, and recognize the opportunity there. So anytime you're feeling this frantic thought energy or like tension of any kind, um, whether it's you or somebody else, it's an opportunity. And it's an opportunity to accept clearer thinking. So if you react to this feeling of frantic thought with anything other than peace and happiness and joy, then it's your opportunity to sort of offload what you don't need anymore, so you can be happy about. So what to do? Because when thought feels frantic, whether it's you or somebody else, it can feel confusing. And this is, our minds are always connected. We're all telepathic, just so you know this and recognize it. So yes, you do feel, even if you don't know the exact content of the thoughts that are running through somebody else's mind, you do feel their thinking. You do feel what's going on around you, and it's always an opportunity. So I am encouraged to become aware of what's coming through me, with feelings, with thoughts, especially judgmental thoughts. And when is judgmental thought coming up, where I'm trying to define that one as other, trying to push that one away from me and define that one as other, I'm scared. I'm always, when that's happening, that's fear. And the attachment to fear and the acceptance of fear as a modality is the attachment to ego. And the attachment to ego is an attachment to something that isn't there, to kind of a hallucination we invented in order to have a believable experience of separation here. So now that it gets broken down into those parts for me, I can kind of notice what's happening and appreciate what's happening and appreciate the opportunities I'm being given. So the frantic thoughts happening, doesn't matter if it seems to be mine or somebody else's. I'm encouraged to nestle into the heart of it, to just go right into that feeling and to be aware of what's coming up and to be aware of the judgments and to recognize the judgments as the pushing away, as the acceptance of the separation perception. And then, so what then? If I am doing this, it's not really a doing, accepting this perspective, what then? It's like a settling in and a waiting, and agreeing that I am willing to have my perception corrected now. So usually in the wake of that, there's a shift and things slow down. And this is a shareable thing. This is a shareable thing, especially when it seems to be coming from the other one. You realize that you're projecting out on them if you're reactive at all. And your mind's always touching theirs. So you're always either inviting them back to the truth of themselves, which is very simple and always very good news. You're light, you're love, everything's okay, you're supported, everything's unfolding the way it should. You're either sharing those messages, whether they know where it's coming from or not, doesn't matter. Or you're inviting them deeper into ego, into the need to self-promote or self-reject, doesn't matter which one you're doing, it's the same thing. into the need to define others as others, to separate out, to kind of make a stand as one versus another, to attach to fear and fearful scenarios, to make negative predictions, to complain, all the things that are associated with separation perception and just not feeling okay. So we're always either inviting people back to the truth of ourselves, our shared and harmonic identity, or we're inviting them to keep pursuing the attachment to the ego. No matter what's going on, we're always issuing one of those two invitations to people. So when it's that simple, and when it's always of benefit to you to settle down into who you truly are and share that, you have a much more joyful experience when you're sharing the good news versus the bad news with yourself and everybody around you. So when things feel confusing and fast-paced, it is nice to remember the invitation to that is just very simple. Number one, allow perception correction. And number two, when I do that, I'm sharing the good news. And it's always a good thing. And sometimes you will see immediate evidence of this in the physical. The person with you might seem to go through a change. And sometimes it's only the way you feel that changes, and what seems to be outside of you doesn't seem to change. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you judge what's going on outside of you. What matters is whether you're in the good news place of peace, of love, and sharing that good news, communicating it telepathically, or whether you're kind of self-harming by staying in the bad news place and sharing the bad news. Now, when we're seemingly stuck in the bad news place, it doesn't mean we're bad and we're guilty and we're, that's all egoic stuff. It just means we're getting a bigger, deeper opportunity than that we hadn't taken advantage of before. So no matter how you look at it, even if you're in a persistent depression for a few days, it's the same thing actually. I was talking about the frenetic, fast-paced thing, but also when things seem to be very slow or dead or lacking in life, or there's no vibrancy there. It's the same thing. It's ego. But today's message was focusing on the fast-paced and confusing stuff. So I will just stay there and remember to, instead of trying to retreat from it or distract from it, or proclaim a bigger ego to, sometimes we do that. We try to dominate a conversation. I do that in order to kind of drown out what we see as the problem we're projecting on the other one. Instead of doing that, we can just sink in to who we are, share that just by being there, just telepathically, and whatever comes next, comes next. If we say something, we do. If we do something, we do. But the most important thing is where all that is coming from. So that is a big help to me. Hope you're doing well. Thanks. Now, I don't know how to stop this live stream, so we'll just see if I know how.